Hello everyone, and welcome to another installment of Erin's Book Club. Today I have a book review to do. This is called The Book of Bitches. And when I got it at first, I was so excited because it came off as a self-help book, as a here's how to be more sure of yourself, here's how to, transfer life in a good way. And the first paragraph or the first introduction got me really excited. It got me. She said that the author explained how everybody has an inner bitch, and this is the life that everybody has to struggle with, and oh, by the way, there's other bitches, and I'm going to teach you how to deal with them. And so I got really excited. And then I got to reading her types of bitches, and I would change this book. Instead of the Book of Bitches, it should be the Book of Hypocrites. She comes off as, I understand your struggle, I understand what you're going through, people are the way they are, and then everything that she wrote about, every type of bitch that she talked about, was the result of hate. And then she broke it down even more, the result of jealousy. And then she said they were all jealous, and she used herself as an example. And it didn't work because she's a pageant queen winner. She's absolutely drop dead gorgeous. She has perfect boobs, which she herself has said, and that all these bitches are jealous of this, and that's why they're bitches. And okay, maybe that works for her, but for people who don't have that, does that mean we fall into the bitch category? And I guess I'm the biggest bitch of all because everything she said was shallow and bitter and angry, and like, instead of having issues or talking to people that you have issues with, she's talking about putting things into her mental Rolodex and then coming back later out of nowhere and shutting the bitch down. So instead of saying, hey, you know what you just did? It really pissed me off because of this. Or, hey, when you acted this way? Why the heck did you act this way? Did I do something that offended you? Instead of doing that, what you're supposed to do is just say nothing, and then the next chance you get, you say something really snarky so that person knows that you're hurting them. And like, that was basically the gist of how to deal with every bitch there, that like bitch type that she was talking about. It was, don't say anything right away, and then wham bam slam them. And the only ones that she said that you should stay your ground with or that you should stick up with are the ones that she calls like the super bitches or the like major bitch haters and that kind of thing. It was an alarming book. It's a dangerous book. I really don't think anybody should read this book because this is the reason why women are looked at as catty fools. Because we don't go out there and say to the world, here I am, this is who I am, I don't care what you think about who I am, but this is who I am. Instead we say, well, let's go brush my hair, let's go make sure I look good, let's make sure I have makeup on, because the only way to feel good is if I'm dressed up. And that's another thing too, like, she started the book saying, go meditate, get a good aura around you, which I'm all for. And then she says, start your world making sure that you're, put together and clean and tidy because that's what she likes. And she likes good clothes and she likes to spend money on good clothes. Well, of course she does. She's from a pageant. Like, I am so far removed from this individual that I'm finding it very difficult to learn anything that she's trying to teach us. Like, I'm never going to put makeup on, and I'm never going to look like the model type, and I'm always going to be fat, because you know what? I like food, and I like the way I look, and I don't care that I'm fat. I'm happy, okay? I won't go to the gym every day to make myself look the way that I think other people should look. And this book kind of makes it like, unless you have something that other people are going to be jealous of, you are the bitch. You are not the one that's being bitched at. So, because I don't have big boobs or because my body isn't great, I must be the bitch. And if I have any contention with anybody who has a perfect body or has perfect boobs, then I must bitch at them because I must be jealous. It's awful. And then she's talking about online or on the job bitches and like your authoritative bitches. And according to her, you should study them for 3 or 4 months, find out what they like to wear, and then use that as fodder when you're sucking up to them. Like, oh, that's a wonderful perfume. Is that, insert brand name here because I don't know perfumes, and that's supposed to be, that's supposed to be the way that you shoot down on the job bitches and authoritative bitches. Well, to me, that's sucking up. So, if, for me, okay, the way that I work at a work, at a job, and there's the job where I'm at, there's people there that I really cannot stand, okay? But you can't go up to these people and say, you guys suck, right? Because you're out of business and you're going to be working with these people day in, day out. So if I have an issue with these people, I try one of two things. If I value the relationship and try to save the relationship, I will sit and talk to them and say, okay, you've pissed me off, this is why. If I don't value the relationship and I don't feel as though it's worth anything, then you just don't exist in my world. I'll be polite to you because I'm at a workplace. Other than that, you don't exist in my world. In fact, there's one person at work right now who is very childish and conniving and was talking shit about me, and I actually pulled her aside and said, listen, you need to stop doing this, or I'm going to the higher-ups. And the individual said, okay, I'll stop doing that. She hasn't. Now, she doesn't exist in my world. I say my hellos, I say my thank yous, I say, but that's that. And I've explained to her why. Okay? That's the way life should run. It shouldn't be, well, you've pissed me off, so I'm going to wait for a few months and then I'm going to, say something snarky in front of everybody. And then she ends the book by saying that you need to have empathy and compassion when the entire book is about everybody must be jealous of me because I'm perfect. And, if she's perfect, that's great. If she has a great body, that's even better. But that doesn't make everybody else a bitch. It really doesn't. And if women feel that that's the way that they need to behave because they read this book, no wonder women are fucked. And I'm sorry for the swearing. I don't like to swear, but this book has got me pissed off. It shouldn't be someone's a bitch, someone isn't a bitch. It should be this is how you deal with the bitch. Doesn't matter why they're a bitch. People are bitches. It happens. This is how you deal with it. Not, you are obviously jealous of me because I didn't win the pageant. Or because I did win the pageant. Or whatever. I think this book has got it all wrong. And I think the problem is that everybody's going to want to read this book because it's got a great title. And the interspersed with her little bits of advice is great dialogue and eloquently written stuff. It's a good read that way. It's easy to read through. But the tidbits of advice and the little stories are toxic. And I don't think that's the way you should deal with people. I think if you have a problem with somebody, be it anywhere, you should tell them. Unless you don't value the relationship at all. And if you don't value the relationship, that's fine. Move on. They don't exist. And let's just say you have a higher up. Okay, let's just say you have a higher up at work that controls your work life and is absolutely awful. Okay? Instead of playing games and doing little head things and sneaking in nasty little comments and that kind of thing and head games, how about you go to that person's higher up and say, listen, I'm feeling threatened because of this, or I have an issue because of this, or better yet, go to that higher person up and say, what have I done that pisses you off? Let's discuss that. I mean, do it in a professional way, but instead of being conniving, that's what I hate about this book. It's all about games. It's all about saying what, when, and how. And I really have no words for this book. It scares me. I'm never going to read this book again. I'm never going to give it out. And I guess I'm just the wrong audience for this book. But I think anybody who reads this book, no matter what color glasses or what prescription glasses, is going to have the wrong idea about life, and it's going to be a lot more challenging and a lot more difficult. If you start writing shit down about people to get fodder or to get ammo, something's wrong. You shouldn't have to write shit down about people. If somebody is threatening you and you're feeling your safety is in jeopardy, by all means, write down the incident, date the incident, witness the incident. That kind of thing is fine. But if you feel that they're being bitchy to you and you're writing down shit and let's face it, stalking people for 3 months to figure out how to change them, it's just wrong. And then there's a section here too about if there's a couple that's married and you want that either the married couple, you want either the man or the woman of that couple, instead of saying they're off bounds, how about you just be nice to that person and leave it at that, know that they're off bounds. She's stick around, be nice to them, be nice to both of them. And I think one of the words were, don't be surprised if the relationship doesn't break up right away. So she sits there and says you don't want to break them up, and then don't be surprised if it doesn't break up right away. Like, I had to give my head a shake. And it was a book that I struggled to get through, not because it was difficult to read, but because of all her concepts. All they did was spread angst and spread difficulty. And, like, how about speaking directly to the individual that's bothering you instead of playing games? Like, it just, ah! I, I guess this is the first book that's really got me riled up. And let me read the back of it, because it's such a misleading concept, because you read the back and you're thinking this is wonderful, right? Because, like, the Book of Bitches is your key to identifying different types of bitches and learning how to handle them. And most importantly, manifesting your own inner bitch so they can't manipulate you. With major newspaper and television headlines using such terms as squabbling, bitchy cliques, and bullying, the reader can see that the bitchy behavior is at an all-time high and is a lifelong issue. That's the bad news, okay? I agree with all of that. Here's the good news. The Book of Bitches ensures that you don't end up as roadkill in life. It's unique because not only does it discuss the distinctive types of every gal will bump up against, but it also covers self-improvement techniques to gain the inner strength and confidence every woman needs, and teaches how to maintain empathy while avoiding sacrificing would-be relationships. Even some of the worst bitches can be transcended. That word pisses me off. Transcended? So, like, they're not good enough for you yet, but with these techniques, with these mind games, you can transcend them into somebody who's worthy of your friendship? Like, anyway, and become, gasp, good friends. To quote the Book of Bitches, the key is to know the difference between someone who needs a little nudge and someone who needs a first-class ticket out of your life. There is no key to that. You talk to them, if it doesn't work, they get out of your life. Like, you don't need the mind games, and the whole book is about mind games. And like, I read some of these passages off to my husband, and he's like, the real scary thing is that most people, or most women, are like the ones that are in the book, and most people feel that this is a proper way to behave. It isn't. Like, I don't know. I think that it's a really bad idea to try to do mind games to get what you want, and to believe that the only reason people are being a bitchy to you is because they're jealous of whatever. Insert item here. Yes, jealousy exists. Hate exists. It's everywhere, but it doesn't only exist in so-called bitches. And having an inner bitch, that's great. That's a great label, but, like, everybody that you rub up against, you're not going to get along with. Doesn't mean they're a bitch. Doesn't mean you need mind games. So I guess what I'm gonna say about this book, and I hate doing it because I do like to try to keep positive, but this book has got me so riled up, and I'm sure this is gonna make me enemy number one to the author and to anybody else who reads this. Call me a bitch. I really, really dislike this book. I'm really worried about the message this book is going to send out to girls. There's some good points, but a lot of it is just like, let's play mind games. That's gonna help your life. Not a good book to read. In fact, I'm very upset about the ending about the whole book. Let's just say that. So I'm sorry, guys, that I went off on a rant, and I'm sorry that this is a lot harsher than I usually do. But this is a scary book. It really is. But that's my opinion, and I'm sure people are going to think I'm out to lunch and that I totally took this the wrong way and that it wasn't meant that way, but that's why you get your opinion of other people of your book, because you want to find out what people think, and this is what I think. Wrong or right, it's what I think. So, thanks very much, guys, for listening to me ramble, and I will let you know when I've got another book read. Thanks, guys.